Hey everybody, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my Chapman stick. This is incredible. I bought it off a guy called Phil. I travelled all the way to Wales, had a bit of a play, had a look at it, and I was just amazed by it, and thought that I should really give it a go and give it a really good try to play. And it is really difficult, and we're still learning, but we're gonna get there. I'll just talk a little bit about the look and the design. I'll go over some tones, and then I'll probably, you know the score by now if you've watched a few of my demo videos. I will do a bit of a jam, bit of a play out at the end, which is always fun, especially on something like this because it's so weird. Hey everyone, just jumping in. I didn't mention the great stick players that are about. We've got Chapman, who is obviously the creator of the stick. Incredible work. Tony Levin, who plays for Peter Gabriel. Kevin Keith, Bob Culbertson, Greg Howard, Jim Lampy, and there's a guy in the underground in London called Mike Mattel. He's also known as Bucky as well. He plays an alto stick, which again, mind blown. Alright, just put that in there and back to the video. Cheers. And just go over the basic look of it. So we'll start off with the bottom. These are the strings. There are specific stick strings, but I'm convinced that you can just use normal guitar strings. The string saddles are all sort of very interesting things, and you can change the intonation. You've got some screws in there as well, and the screws there either side. So it's quite a complex thing. It has a Roland GK-2A synthesizer on it as well. I don't have that plugged in, but if you want to replicate piano sounds or organ sounds or trumpet sounds, then generally you can do that. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to talk about the actual stick. This is the block. It's not very heavy, but for some reason, I think because I've been holding it for a while, it's getting heavy. This is the block, and it's just, you can consider it as a P-bass setup, I suppose. You got 2 neck pickups and 2 bridge pickups. You got tone controls. Pickup selectors, tone controls on either side, and volume. Because of the way the stick setup is everything's actually mirrored. So my volume for my guitar melody side is here, but my volume for my bass chordal side is here. So, weird. Same. Strings, headstock. Can you see on the top there it says 2053? That is, I'm assuming that's the model number. 2 adjustable notes. These foam strips are to stop the strings ringing out when you play open strings, but you don't generally play open strings on this thing. Truss rod, and this is the belt thing, and obviously the strap. And obviously, yeah, this is the strap. I'll just talk quickly about the tuning. We've got C, which is a huge fat string, and it's going to go in ascending fifths towards me. I had to write this down because it's mad. So we've got C, G, D, A, E, and then descending fourths, we've got C, F sharp, B, E, A, D. And the actual specific term is mirrored reciprocal. And that's just weird. So it jumps in there like that, and this is how you hold it down. There it goes, and we're live. I'll alternate going up and down just so you can see. We'll talk about the bass and the chordal side first in terms of tones. So at the moment we're on neck, because it's closest to the neck. And I've got a reverb going on my pedal. So yeah, so that's a pretty good tone, I would agree. But you can change it to so many different things. You can have all of neck, or you can have neck and some bridge. You can have both. Well, that would actually be more bridge and then neck, and then you can just have bridge. Crazy. This cool little thing, you can alter the tones, so you can sort of go from like a... Hey, just so you know, the tone switch that I was referring to as the tone switch actually runs the pickups in parallel series, in phase and out of phase. So I just missed that out, but felt like I needed to include that in another little video. Yeah, alright, so back to it. It's not really a dull tone, but a darker tone to a much brighter tone, just by switching this. So we'll just demonstrate it on all of them, I suppose. So you hear the difference there. There's a really big difference. It's the same on all the pickups. So that is madness, wouldn't you agree? And just on the bass aside, on the bass alone, you can make really nice sort of melodies. Change the tone maybe. It's very different. It's kind of like a sitar. So many different tones. It's madness. And that's just on the bass. But the great thing about this is that you can make cool bass lines, and because it's so weird in different tunes, you can do loads of different bass lines as well. So off the top of my head, you could do something cool. Everything is swap round. All sorts of cool. Crazy, and with reverb as well, it sounds really cool. And this thing that I'm working on is trying to get consistency. He says. And so on. That's something to work on though. So that's just the guitar side of everything. Bass, chordal sort of side, sorry. If you move over to the guitar side, dry, I've noticed when I've watched people play sticks, generally they play it dry with no effects, and me personally, I don't really like that, because They don't sound that thrilling. Also, because this is in fourths, I'm so much more comfortable with it because my NS is in fourths. So this is much easier, which is bizarre. So yeah, so let's just talk over the tones briefly. I'm just running a little delay / reverb and an amp simulator just to make it sort of a bright sounding and so the notes are long. So neck. Now we've got more bridge, less neck, but still a little bit of neck in there. And then we've got full bridge, which is... Isn't there such a crazy difference though between that? Crazy. Obviously your volume's up there, and you can have loads of different options of tones, so you could just play so many different things, chords. Everything is so weird and the wrong way around, it almost kind of makes you question everything. But yeah, so, you know, loads of different tones in there. It's so varied. And you don't... I've seen some stick players who obviously play this simultaneous thing, and that is mental. But sometimes I tend to play it a bit like a guitar as well, so... With all my effects and delays, it's nice. Yeah. It's cool, you know, it's a nice little thing. Turn that up. It's all pretty cool. It's all nice and it's all a little bit odd to do and a little bit odd to play. I don't know many instruments that come with instruction manuals, but I've got one right here, and all I can say is thank God for that, because the GoPro just fell over, because, you know, you need material, and because there's nothing else out there like this, it shows you all sorts of stuff, like chords. That's mental. And it shows you rhythms and rudiments and various techniques and where everything is. Obviously this isn't a lesson because I need the lessons, but it is crazy. And how many pages there are? There is 70 plus pages of material with some pieces at the end as well to learn and play. So if the world goes to absolute pot and we're all kept inside, there's the material. That's all I will say. Alright guys, well that's pretty much the stick. There's some tunes that I've done with it in the comments as well, in the description, and if you like it, let me know. Alright guys, well I will see you in a bit. Cheers.